My friends, change has never come by waiting. It has never arrived through silence or fear. Change begins the moment we decide that tomorrow will not look like yesterday. Each of us carries a spark, a quiet strength within that can light up the darkest corners of our communities, our nations, and our world. The question is not whether we have the power to change things. The question is whether we are brave enough to use it. Because the truth is, real change doesn't come from the top down. It comes from the bottom up. It comes from ordinary people doing extraordinary things, from students who raise their voices, from workers who refuse to give up, from dreamers who dare to believe that they can build something better. Every great movement began with a single person who decided enough waiting, enough doubting, enough letting fear dictate the future. You see, the power to change your life, your community, your country, it's not in some distant leader or powerful institution. It's in your hands. It's in the choices you make. It's in the courage to stand up when it's easier to sit down. It's in the persistence to try again when the world tells you no. So when you see injustice, speak up. When you see division, build a bridge. When you see despair, be the hope. Because one voice, one action, one moment of courage can ripple across generations. And when you use that power within you, not for fame, not for praise, but for purpose, you become part of something far greater than yourself. You become the author of change, the builder of tomorrow. Change starts within. It does not begin in government offices, in grand speeches, or in the noise of social media. It begins quietly in the human heart. Every great movement that reshaped history began because one person looked inward and decided they would no longer accept the world as it was. The truth is, no law, no leader, and no system can create lasting change until the individual accepts the responsibility to change themselves first. When we talk about the power to change, we often imagine it as something external, something we must reach out and grab. But in reality, it's already a part of who we are. It lives in our choices, our mindset, and our willingness to grow. The moment you decide to think differently, to believe differently, to act differently, that is the moment change begins. True change demands honesty. It asks you to look at your own life and confront the fears, habits, and excuses that hold you back. It's easier to point at the world and say, they need to do better, but real progress happens when we turn that finger inward and say, I can do better. Growth is uncomfortable, but that discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. When you start changing yourself, you begin to influence the world around you. People notice your strength, your integrity, your light. They begin to ask questions, to listen, to follow. That's how change spreads, not through orders or demands, but through example, courage over comfort. That is where transformation truly begins. Every meaningful change in history has come from those who dared to step outside the boundaries of safety, who chose to walk into the unknown rather than remain trapped in the familiar. Comfort is seductive. It tells us we are fine where we are, that risk is unnecessary, but comfort, while peaceful, is also the silent killer of progress. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means moving forward in spite of it. Every person who has ever changed the course of their life or the world has faced doubt, ridicule, and moments of weakness. What separates them from the rest is not that they felt no fear, but that they acted anyway. Comfort offers short-term peace, but long-term regret. Courage offers short-term struggle, but long-term fulfillment. Every time you choose courage, you redefine what is possible for yourself and for others. You become living proof that progress is not reserved for the chosen few. It's available to anyone bold enough to try. Courage is not a single, dramatic act. It's a daily decision. It's choosing to wake up and Keep going when yesterday broke you. It's choosing honesty over popularity, effort over excuses, and vision over fear. Every time you do that, you build a stronger version of yourself, a version that can carry the weight of your dreams. Collective strength is the heartbeat of every lasting transformation. No individual, no matter how determined, can change the world alone. True progress rises when people come together, when hearts align, voices unite, and hands join in common purpose. History shows us that every victory for justice and freedom was not the result of one person's effort, but the combined courage of many who refused to give up on one another. There is a unique power that emerges when individuals set aside their differences to stand for something larger than themselves. Alone, one person can start a spark, but together people can ignite a fire that can light up nations. That is the magic of unity. It multiplies strength until the impossible becomes inevitable. Collective strength is not about everyone thinking the same, but about everyone believing in the same goal. Diversity in thought and experience is not a weakness. It is the foundation of resilience. When people bring their unique gifts to the table, the community becomes stronger and wiser. When one person falls, collective strength lifts them. When one person doubts, collective hope steadies them. That is what makes unity so powerful. It transforms isolation into inspiration. It reminds us that no struggle is faced alone, and no dream is too big when shared by many hearts beating with the same rhythm. Refuse to wait, because waiting has never built a better world. Progress does not come to those who sit still, hoping that time will fix what courage has left undone. Every second spent waiting for the perfect moment is a second of potential lost. The truth is, there is no perfect time, no perfect plan, no perfect opportunity. The only perfect moment is the one you are living in right now. Throughout history, every act of courage began with someone who refused to wait, who acted without permission, who believed that now was the time. Waiting is easy. Acting is hard, but action is the language of change. We often convince ourselves that tomorrow will be better, that someday we'll have more courage, more clarity, more power, but someday is not a day of the week. The world does not move because we wish it to. It moves because we dare to push it forward. Refusing to wait is not impatience. It is responsibility. It means realizing that the comfort of waiting comes at the cost of progress. Time is a gift, and every moment spent hesitating is a moment we can never reclaim. The world changes not when conditions are perfect, but when people decide they've waited long enough. Purpose over praise. That is where true greatness lives. In a world driven by recognition, it's easy to forget that the most meaningful acts of change often go unnoticed. Real purpose is not about being seen. It's about making a difference. It's about doing what's right, not what's popular. Those who move the world forward do not chase the spotlight. They chase significance. They understand that the reward for doing good is not in the applause that follows, but in the quiet satisfaction of knowing they did what needed to be done. When you live for praise, you become a prisoner of other people's opinions. But when you live for purpose, you are free. Purpose gives direction that no criticism can derail and no applause can define. Purpose demands patience. It asks you to build when no one believes, to persist when progress feels invisible. The greatest builders of humanity were often ignored or misunderstood in their time. Yet they stayed anchored in the belief that what they were doing mattered. They chose meaning over attention, and in doing so, they built legacies that outlived them. The pursuit of praise is fleeting. It fills the moment, but empties the soul. Purpose fills the soul, even when the world is silent. So when faced with the choice between being liked and being true, choose purpose. Because the ones who change the world are not those who chase recognition. They are the ones who chase meaning. Be the ripple, because every act of courage, every word spoken in truth, every moment of kindness sends energy farther than you can imagine. Change doesn't always arrive in waves of noise or revolution. It often begins quietly, with one person choosing to do what's right when no one else will. When you decide to stand for something, even in isolation, you unknowingly give others permission to do the same. People are watching, and they draw courage from your example. One person's bravery can spark another's until what once felt impossible begins to spread like light through darkness. The beauty of being the ripple is that you don't need to see the full effect to know it matters. You may never know whose heart your kindness touched or whose spirit your determination awakened, but what matters is that you chose to act. Ripples take time to grow, but once they start, they never stop. Every time you choose compassion over anger, honesty over convenience, courage over fear, you are shaping the world around you. You don't need to move mountains. You just need to move hearts. Greatness is never born all at once. It expands, it spreads, it grows. Your courage becomes someone else's inspiration. Your persistence becomes someone else's hope. The world shifts not when everyone acts at once, but when enough ripples overlap to form a tide. And so, my friends, as we stand at this moment in time, a moment filled with both challenge and possibility, let us remember this simple but powerful truth. The future is not something that happens to us, it is something we build. The world will not change because we hope it will. It will change because we choose to make it so. Each of us carries the power to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, the impossible into the inevitable, the power to speak when silence reigns, to act when fear whispers wait, to rise when the weight of the world says, stay down. That power has always been and will always be in your hands. So let us not wait for miracles. Let us become them. Let us not wait for leaders. Let us lead. Let us not wait for change. Let us create it. Because when we believe in that power within us, when we choose courage over comfort, purpose over praise, and unity over division, then no wall is too high, no dream too distant, and no challenge too great. The future is calling, not from some faraway tomorrow, but from this very moment. Answer it, shape it, live it, because the power to change is and always will be in your hands.